This is the G Podcast with your host, Tonya B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 264 of This is the G Podcast. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? And I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Say welcome to the crew. They are here. It's just us this week, and because we got so much to talk about, and we are going on hiatus for next weekend, holiday weekend. So got to say what's up, giving us the tea. Tonya B is in the building. Yes, Tonya B, how you doing?
Oh,
wonderful, wonderful.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, I got to get through this show because it's been a hell of a week. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster.
Got that right.
Yeah. Talib Shabazz is in the building. Talib,
What's happening?
how you doing, man?
Everything's good.
Everything is good.
Bro.
Good,
Oh, yeah.
good. Looking good.
Excited about another edition of This is the G Podcast.
Yes, he is. Look at it. I saw him doing handstands before the show started. Yeah.
They call that at my age. It's called broke dancing, not break dancing.
Call what now?
Broke dancing.
Broke dancing.
At my
There you
age,
go.
broke dancing.
Country commentators in the building. Bye. What's up, man?
Hey man, it's been great. It's been a long week for me too, man. My boss lady reminded me that I have a job. I said, okay.
What? Oh, we got to talk about that. That is not encouraging.
It is not. It wasn't that bad. She was still nice about it.
But you know what she
said
sounds
was,
like to me. But
all she said was, I just took advantage of it. I've been taking advantage of it. She just let me know enough is enough. She said, your contract says you work from 7 to 3. Now, if you want to change, I just need to know. I'll be at work 7 to 3.
Now,
see now, go ahead,
now
Tonya
the
B.
boss lady is his granddaughter who says you must be up and taking care of me between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So you got to get up when baby grand gets up.
Yes.
She let me know. You know, I've been coming in at 9 and 10, leaving at 2, taking days off without telling her. Just let her know, hey, I ain't coming in today.
Hey, no call, no show. No call, no show.
I give her a call and just let her know instead of asking. I say, hey, I ain't coming in tomorrow.
You can tell the brothers who are close to retirement. Nobody else gonna pull that shit with you.
Don't say you're a government worker. You cannot be a government worker. Please.
Okay.
I am not a government worker.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, y'all. Hey, let's go ahead. You know what? I've already said this has been an interesting week. But before we get into the conversation, I want to play something from Rick Wilson. He is co-founder of the Lincoln Project. You probably heard of the Lincoln Project. There were Republicans who said, oh, hell no, we won't go when it comes down to MAGA. And honestly, they do, of all the, I call them PACs, political action committees, they do the best. I think they do the best messaging, and they point out the things that need to be pointed out that matter. I think they do the best job. So Rick Wilson did and I'll make sure I post this in our notes, the full YouTube video as well as their website. Give them credit for that because I'm going to play about 5 minutes, so 4 or 5 minutes of it. I want y'all to check it out and really listen to what he's saying before we go into the podcast fully. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Here we go,
folks. One of the greatest things about Donald Trump in the history of this country is that he over and over and over again convinces people he's playing 3D chess or 5D chess or 87-degree quantum chess or some other mystical negotiating game when he never is. The entire collapse of the stock market was caused by Donald Trump listening to idiots like Howard Lutnick and Peter Navarro. He did this because he does not understand economics. He does not understand business. He does not understand negotiation. He does not understand the economy. The fact that we suddenly had this amazing response on Wall Street after Donald Trump suspended the tariffs for 90 days is irrational exuberance on their part. And it shows you that they've fallen prey to the same con many other people have in substituting for Donald Trump madness for method. So every time Donald Trump goes out and does something idiotic, the instantaneous result on MAGA's part is to reconfigure every belief they ever had, to recast conservatism as being suddenly defined by Donald Trump's latest action, and to pretend that there's some deeper game being played, to pretend there's some more profound understanding of the world or whatever he's doing at that moment than has ever existed. You're about to see a repeat of the economic insanity by the party that said they wanted no more wars, going to war with Iran very soon. But on this week, Wall Street took the bait. Now, part of that was corrupt as shit. Part of that was Donald Trump and his friends, and I would bet you good money his friends and his family got a little nod and a wink ahead of time, like, hey, buy SPY, shorts, go, or longs, go. Because a lot of people made a lot of money.
It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million. That's not bad. He's in financials. I've always been
Magically, weirdly. I mean, I know most of you look at Donald Trump and think that man is a paragon of moral virtue, and he would never engage in corrupt insider trading practices, and neither would he cheat on a wife. Neither would he dally with porn stars. That man is the absolute paragon of every ethical principle I want my children to have, or not. But here's the thing: when you look at what happened this week, Donald Trump crashed the U.S. economy, incinerated somewhere between $10 and $15 trillion of hard-earned investments. Not just by Wall Street banks, but investments that were there from mom and dad trying to retire, investments that were in bank account or investment accounts for school teachers and firefighters and cops and soldiers and auto mechanics and nurses and everybody else in this country. Oh, yeah. He did that because he has this unbelievable cupidity about his belief in tariffs. It is an 18th century philosophy that exactly one fucking economist in the entire country believes in, and that's Peter Navarro. And Peter Navarro is the dollar store of economics. Peter Navarro is a clown and a joke and a fool. And Donald Trump believes that his shit doesn't stink and that he's 12 feet tall.
This morning I did walk out of a federal prison.
Every bit of that collapse was in Donald Trump's hands. What scared him, though? What made him cave? What made him flip? What made him break? I'll tell you what it was. The Japanese, in the overnights, night before last, started selling every T-bill they could. They started dumping American T-bills, dumping American assets. The 10-year Treasury note jumped 60 basis points in 24 hours. It normally moves a basis, a basis point in a month if something's going up or down. This was a shock to the system. What it would have meant if it had continued, and by the way, it isn't completely over yet. It would have meant 8 to 9 to 10% mortgage rates in this country. It would have meant a colossal restriction in the ability of businesses to borrow money, to grow, to pay people, to expand, and or to be created.
All right, so I want to go to you, Tonya B. Imagine you're in the house market right now, right? Can you imagine 10% interest on the current prices?
I wouldn't be able to buy.
Yeah. So when I heard this, and I was watching this week, because as I'm watching, I'm thinking, damn, is it just me? Apparently it's not. Because I connected with him saying what he said so much. You know, I just felt, man, I got to play this because I'm so glad I'm not the only one saying this shit. And the whole thing, and we'll get into it when it comes down, after, Syracuse Mike in the news. But you've got, a couple of Congress people are actually under investigation right now for insider trading because they're looking at the timeline in which they started making major trades
Yep.
against when he posted "It's a good time to buy" on his social network. Talib, you got something to say? I'm looking at you. You got that look on your face.
Damn, I gotta.
You got that look.
I mean, this. There's a couple of things I want to ask. I want to ask: was Mary? What's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Was she a millionaire before she became a congresswoman?
Oh no.
No.
Right.
What she was doing? Like she was. What was she doing? Like a trainer?
She was at the Dairy Queen.
Right. So how is she in only about 3 or 4 years? What? Maybe she's 8 years in now.
Yeah.
In Congress. She's got enough money to buy almost $1 million worth of stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did she get it from?
Well,
listen, y'all know I don't check people's pockets. I don't like checking people's pockets. I don't care how much money you have. But what I'm asking is that if you were not a millionaire 8 years ago, where have you got almost $1 million to just drop on treasury bonds and stocks? And now somebody all of a sudden, people want to act like insider trading is not going on in Congress.
That's what I'm saying. It's always been going. But to this extent, I'll say this to leave, and I want to go to Vi too. Here's my thing. And Rick went on. I didn't play the whole thing because I'm going to put the link in our notes. He went on to say they're not going to do anything about this. Nobody's going to do anything about it because a lot of them are complicit. A lot of people. Congress isn't going to do anything because one, Congress doesn't want to be held to task for owning stock, and in a lot of cases, you've got lobbyists who are involved in some of these trades that have been going back since they've had the ability to do so. They don't want anybody to look into this. Go ahead, Tony.
Tell on themselves. They're not
going to tell on themselves. So nothing, SEC, nobody's going to do anything. And honestly, and I'll say this, and I'm going to go to you, Vi. I'm going to throw it to you. We know what any investigation against Trump has done.
Definitely.
Absolutely nothing. So if it's going to cost any money, honestly, keep your money and just go ahead and look at the midterms and try to get power back.
Right.
Going into the midterms and hopefully by 2028. Go ahead, Vi.
Yeah, the Democrats are just as bad because, like you said, most of the folks who went in politics, they was not making. I don't even think majority weren't even making $100,000 a year. But now they're all worth millions. So where are they getting all this money from? Cause they're not getting paid to work in Congress to make that kind of money. So yeah. And Trump, we have for 4 years we could not put this man in jail. Now he's the president. No, yeah, forget about it. It's not happening.
It's not going to happen
again.
Again.
Like you were saying, Vi, AOC, she was a waitress. I don't know what her worth is now, but some of them do come from means. Don't get me wrong, and they just get richer. But most of them come from grassroots, blue collar, working class families, the kind where people are getting laid off right now.
Well, there's a link I've shared with y'all before that shows every member of Congress. It's public record, okay? It shows every member of Congress's portfolio, the value of their stock. I've shared it with you in the past. You can probably check either. I think I've talked about it on the show before as well. You can look at that and tell. You can look at the stock portfolio. The number one is, what's his name out of Florida, Scott out of Florida. And right up there with them is Pelosi, is high in terms of portfolios, the most valuable portfolios. You can go down the list. So, I agree with you 100% what you said, Tonya B. They're not gonna tell on themselves.
Nope.
And the DOJ, he's already, for the most part, what do mob bosses do when they take over? They eliminate the people who could rat them out. He's already done that. He's already gone through. He's cleaned up. He's cleaned out the DOJ. He's cleaned out the SEC. He's put in new heads. You know, so we just got to ride it out now. Go ahead.
He didn't have a plan last time. This time he got a plan.
Oh, yeah. He put the loyalists. He's got loyalists in now. He doesn't have people with high ideals running a lot of this. I mean, look at Scratchy at the HHS.
You mean high?
That
he got about a lot of he has a lot of self-absorbed people in the position who only think of themselves and not the country.
No, they think of him. It's a cult. Just he is what is it? Supreme leader is what they call him.
Yeah, you got some magna congressman talking about the measles outbreak because of the immigrants. Really, dude?
Oh my God!
You gonna blame the immigrants for that? Wow.
All right, y'all. Hey, I just wanted to frame the week for people, and I know a lot of you. I mean, and I've kind of switched the show around a bit where we would have talked about this in politics. I wanted to do this because this was a big deal this week. I mean, if you've got 401ks, we talked about this last week. We don't even look. Don't even look right now.
Exactly.
You might
I had
an ulcer.
I had to look.
Don't look no more.
Too late. Yolanda, you're right. I ain't looking no more, but I did look. I said, "Oh Lord, thank God I'm not." I said, "Thank God I'm not retiring this year."
No, absolutely not. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do news with Syracuse Mike. We'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Many have wondered when he would say something, and in recent days he has. President Obama spoke at Hamilton College in New York and expressed his concerns about a number of actions by President Trump.
Imagine if I had done any of this.
On the issue of schools losing federal funding if they don't abide by certain Trump administration's policies, the former president said schools and students should be prepared to lose government funding in order to defend academic freedom. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he plans to tell the CDC to stop recommending the use of fluoride in drinking water nationwide. Kennedy also says he's putting together a task force to focus on the issue. Kennedy has long held that fluoride is a dangerous neurotoxin and has said it has been associated with arthritis, bone breaks, and thyroid disease. However, low levels of fluoride in drinking water has been considered for decades to be one of the greatest public health achievements of the past 100 years. Kennedy cannot order communities to stop the use of fluoride, but he can tell the CDC to stop recommending it. The market was down again Tuesday as President Trump's tariffs continue to worry investors. The Dow was down about 300 points, following Monday's loss of nearly 350 points. About those tariffs, at the White House, reporters want to know what the president is thinking now.
He believes that China wants to make a deal with the United States. He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China.
That's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt Tuesday. She says the president's approach is bringing a response from the world. The Supreme Court has blocked a judge's order telling the Trump administration to rehire 16,000 probationary federal employees. The Supreme Court didn't rule on whether the firings were actually lawful, only saying that the nonprofit organizations filing the lawsuit basically had no legal standing. It was a huge day on Wall Street Wednesday, with the Dow up nearly 3,000 points. Why? Because President Trump said he was authorizing a 90-day pause in reciprocal tariffs. That's for all countries except China. For them, he said he was raising tariffs to 125%. China earlier announced additional retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Universal 10% tariffs from most countries remain in place. But why shift now?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
Mr. Trump defended his about-face on tariffs as an example of his flexibility.
No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents. They wouldn't have done it.
Administration officials said Wednesday's move was all part of his plan, but did the president blink because of pressure from Wall Street and CEOs around the country? According to some reports, yes. The death toll has risen to at least 124 people after the roof of a Dominican Republic nightclub collapsed on Tuesday morning. Among those killed in the deadly collapse were two former MLB players. One of the players was 51-year-old Octavio Dotel, who spent part of the 2007 season as a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. At least 6 people are dead following a helicopter crash in New York's Hudson River.
Hey, Finest, do you know what's going on over there by the Holland Home? The ship went down.
That's from airtrafficcontrol.net. 3 adults and 3 children were on board the tourist copter. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
4 victims were pronounced dead on scene, and 2 more were removed to local area hospitals, where sadly both succumbed to their injuries.
New York Mayor Eric Adams described the incident as heartbreaking and tragic. An historic rally on Wall Street Wednesday has been followed by a huge drop on Thursday. Wednesday, President Trump announced a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, leading to the massive rally. But by Thursday, investors worried about the continued trade war with China, taking the Dow down by about 1,000 points. The Supreme Court has ruled that the United States government must start the process to bring a Maryland father back to this country from El Salvador. The government has already admitted that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported.
All righty, y'all. So I will say this, and I'll just, say it for the record. There is an investigation apparently going on after Wednesday to look at timelines of these trades and whether or not there was a nod, wink, wink to certain people. We'll see how that turns out. And also, according to Common Dreams, it's a website, I think commondreams.com, the tariff whiplash, the back and forth, you want to guess how much money billionaires have created in wealth from that? $305 billion is how much they've made on the whip. And they're calling it the tariff whiplash, back and forth, on and off. But, let me ask you this, and I'm not an economist, and I don't profess to be a political scientist. But wouldn't it have been better just to focus on China in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Just do China first and go back. If he had just done, because that's where we are now. It's a roundabout. We went a roundabout way to go after China. Go buy first, then to leave.
Should have been. But
I mean, would that not have made sense to you?
Now, who owned all them treasury tea? That China or Japan?
I think this was Japan.
So if they own all our code, that's who we got the big loan from Japan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how are we gonna punish Japan if we owe them a whole lot of money?
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you go, Talib, and I wanna go into something, and Tonya B, if you got something, I want to mention something to y'all, because just from a historical standpoint. Go ahead, Talib.
Well, here's the thing. If he had just gone after China, then he wouldn't look like the great deal maker.
Yeah.
This was about the pomp and the circumstance, or not even the pomp and the circumstance. What is that when you puff out your chest? Beat your chest a little bit. It was another performance by P.T. Barnum himself, to make this grand show that something is actually happening and we're doing things.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this week I've never missed W so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Especially after I heard yippee. And they got a little yippee. I mean, and he said it twice.
God. Yeah.
Yippee is this great word that they got a little yippee.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
man.
Just hearing it.
And, I'm just extremely, I'm not as frustrated as I was. I did have to have a conversation with one of my guys this week, and he calmed me down. He said, listen, why are you mad at Trump? Trump is a tool. It's a tool to sharpen us all up, to see what is possible, what's not possible, how people really move and how they don't move, and how to make sure that you set yourself up accordingly.
Agreed.
So I've taken that to heart, and I'm no longer as disgusted by this man as I once was, but I mean, how can people look at this, like the Sean Hannity's and all of his ilk, and think Mark Levin, and really call this guy a deal maker?
Yeah, because here's the deal. Stop there for a minute before I go to Tonya B. We've been around long enough to see the deals, okay? We've seen the products that did not work, okay? We've seen the casinos that failed. We've seen Atlantic City basically has been imploded. Most of those casinos are gone.
You came in there and decimated and just screwed up that today because there were people, and so you're going back to the 80s that were contractors and vendors who still to this day have not been paid.
Yeah,
he's an
eyesore. You know, the two things I think he's been most successful at is selling his name to go on buildings. It's like a naming rights deal. Okay, he may not own the building, but his naming rights. When he puts his name on some of these buildings, it's a naming rights deal. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct.
The other thing that I think he's been successful at is the only other thing I think he's been successful at was the Apprentice show. The show, The Apprentice, the naming deals, and the fact that he inherited the money from Trump Sr., from Fred Trump. That's the success. Somebody correct me or send me a note or email or I'm just wondering, show me where he's done something to show he's the master negotiator. I just don't know.
People tend to forget no one in the United States will loan him money.
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why.
He had to go foreign. He had to go, and that's why he went to Russia. So
no one in the United States loaned him. So what? That tell you he's not a good business. He's not a good business guy. He's not good.
So when I hear what I heard this week from Navarro and a lot of the folks like his press secretary about the art of the deal, no one knows more. I go back because I'm old enough to know, and I've been in the media long enough to ask, where's the success? It's always been when you got the guy who's on Hollywood Square. He's been on Hollywood Squares. He's been injected in movies. It's kind of like he's kind of a caricature of wealth. Yeah. He's not. What's his name? What's my boy? He's older now. The billionaire, good guy. Yeah, Warren Buffett. He's not Warren Buffett.
Oh, no way. No. And don't forget that book, The Art of the Deal, he put his name on, he did not write.
He didn't write it. The guy who wrote it, the ghostwriter, was all over CNN when he ran the first time. So I don't think he can go back on. I think they shut him down. I don't think he can say anything.
He's not written any of those books. Not just that one. He's written none of them.
Yeah. So, Vi, did you have one more thing?
He's a bum. Stop believing in him.
Can we be a little bit more?
One more time, please. And say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it.
I should not call him a bum, but I'm saying like you tell me, he does not have a successful track record. Everything he has touched has failed miserably. His school, he got sued. His school was shut down, and the government had to sue him for selling false promises. Yeah. So he is never. Like you said, name something that he's done that's been a success besides being a 2-term president, and that's not even been a success. He won it, but he was not. He's not been a good president.
I mean, he's been impeached twice. He's been the 34 counts, the felony conviction. I mean, we could go on and on, but I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this just to trash the guy. Honestly, I think if we have a lot at stake because for the most part, we have money in the system. We need a system that works for us to survive. So we want to be having these. I mean, I don't want to be having these conversations every week, but it frustrates the people who have been around for a while, especially New Yorkers. Now, the New Yorkers have a clear understanding of who he is. Am I correct, Talib?
He ran him out of the city. How much more do you need to say? He got run out of New York City.
So I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. Hey, one more thing, couple more things. Clayton County, get your shit together. Damn, come on.
No,
I mean, why is a guy who's serving life in Clayton County, Clayton County jail?
Sorry,
I just gotta ask.
That's why he left. He shouldn't have been there. That's why he left. They realized he shouldn't have been there.
So for those of you who don't know, we had a technical error that actually allowed a murderer who was serving life in Clayton County Jail let him out.
Sorry.
I mean, it's just like Eddie Hammond. What was Eddie Murphy's character for 48 Hours?
Axel Foley.
Eddie Hammond.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
What's his name? Eddie Hammond.
It was. I thought it was
Reggie Hammond.
Trading places, right?
It was just like Eddie Murphy. They just let him through the gates, gave him his money, gave him his suit, and he's back on the streets.
What I want to know is the person that clearly had who was either a functional illiterate or had dyslexia, who input that information into the system that allowed him to walk out?
Damn.
I think, how did they find out about it?
Tell them who they're going to let out next.
And I hope he
Hannibal
got
Lecter.
Third hand.
No, they're going to let Hannibal Lecter out next, y'all. So, but Clayton County, get it together. Come on, y'all. Come on. They have found him in Orlando. And the other thing is,
he got out of town that quick.
Oh man, that guy.
Can you say
he didn't deserve? Hey, he did not deserve the break.
Inside job.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! If you put in the wrong number.
It's not like Clayton County, like some places that they have an active Amtrak or Greyhound or even what's that thing, the Megabus. You have to go to a point to get over the Florida Georgia line, and then to go to Orlando. That's another 8 to 9 hours away. That's
let me give you a hint. Okay, let me give you a tip. Please. If you get in jail, if you go to jail, okay, on a huge charge, and you are let out on a technical error, you need to disappear. You need to go to the woods. A guy did a podcast. It was maybe about 10 years ago. Well, it was maybe 5 years ago. But he was on the run for 10 years. He said the only way he did it in today's technology is he lived literally in the woods, like Survivor. He stayed away from technology. He didn't use credit cards. He didn't use anything identifiable. And what was this dude? He was probably on the mega. Did you say he was on the mega bus?
But here's the thing: you don't go to your family member's home. That's the first place they're going to look for you.
Was he there? Was he there? Was he at it?
Peanut and them said he went to his aunt's house.
I guess he wants some collard greens or something. You know,
America's dumbest criminal.
But he's back. He's back in there. He's back in there. Whew, Lord, it's so much this week, y'all.
Even though he's not a white or blue collar criminal, they could have at least messed up and put him in the Fed down there on McDonough Boulevard.
Yeah. Well, I tell y'all what, he is not upset. He said, "Look, I got freedom again."
48 hours, like I said. Reggie Hammond.
So he said, "Hey, I got something. I don't care what y'all say. I'm back, but hey, I got something." Y'all said I'm gonna never get out.
The boys up. Reggie Hammond.
I got out.
Get out. He's like, nope.
He said, I got out.
Hey, we're not gonna go right into tea. Let's go ahead. Let's take a break and we'll come back with tea. All right. Here we go. Tonya B, I wonder if Nick Nolte was waiting for him, like at the gate when he was.
Gary Busey. No.
It was a Gary Busey and Nick Nolte. I think it was Nick Nolte.
That was Nick Nolte. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sippin' the tea with Tonya B.
Tonya B, what you got? What you got?
I got Star Blue series. I know we've been up here laughing and whatnot, but I want to say, love, light, and prayers up to the people who lost their lives in the New York City helicopter crash. And then that was Thursday. Then on Friday, there was another crash in Boca Raton, Florida, and 3 more people lost their lives. So that it makes you really want to think about getting on the mega bus. Also, the actress Gabourey Sidibe, who we know as Becky from Empire, and she played Precious in the movie with Monique. She just lost her mom, Alice. So shout out to her as well. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this week's entertainment news. Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama said, y'all need to mind your monkey funky business. You know, she can live on her own terms as far as I'm concerned. You know, and she's speaking out for people that want to say things that she said and done things that she's want to do things she's done. But she's like, look, they were, you know, you can't be private but so much when you're in a place where the Obamas were for 8 years, you know, in the White House. But she wants family and life balance, and now she doesn't have to do anything she don't want to do. I thoroughly understand and support her in not going to the Orange inauguration. I wouldn't know it either. She said no cause for alarm, no cause for divorce. Now, where this comes from, it's just like she's a grown woman trying to do what she wants to do. And people forget, they are human. If you had to endure the pressure of 8 years of people talking smack about you, telling lies, talking about your children, your brother, your mama and them, what would you do? Go and protect your own mental health and say screw anybody that has anything to say about it. And I don't blame her. That's, you know, they have lived, you know, under a microscope for more than 8 years, because here we are now. They've been out of the White House how many years, and she's still living under a microscope. And that's a really rough life. I mean, this woman lost her mother, and you want to talk about, you know, and
no, go ahead.
No, they want to talk about why she didn't go to somebody's party or somebody's funeral, because she don't have to. How about that?
But you know, when I've read some of the things that were said about her that have been, and even the things that were said about, you keep in mind the kids, the girls.
Exactly.
And if you're a mother, and you're as intelligent as someone like Michelle Obama is, why would you? I mean, it was really, I mean, you got to read some of the stuff that was sent to them. I mean, I've seen some things in media, and it's disgusting. I don't think there's ever been anything said about the Obamas that was said about any other past president.
Oh no, that's not.
Nobody.
So yeah, I don't blame her at all. Yeah.
But you know what? She living her best life. That's all I'm saying.
As she should.
I'm going back and forth with you. Okay? Is it just, you know what? People that are saying those things about her, I believe they're intimidated by her intelligence, and they're just, they wish they could do 1/10 of what she's done. Wish they could read 1/10 of the book that she's done. Usually when you find people that do and say those hateful things, it comes up from a place of envy and ignorance. And they can go over there in the corner with R. Kelly and Neo and Nick Cannon and the rest of them dumb donkeys I put in the corner over there with Ray J too. All of them. Boop, bye.
Yep.
You know, and that's how I feel about it. You know, and you know what I say this: the people who admire her, the people who love her, are the people that count.
What you got next?
Okay, let's talk about.
I know you're gonna keep beating them. Go ahead.
Get ready to leave.
The dead horse. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Toni Braxton and her husband, the rapper Birdman. They have been denying they were married. She even went public and she said, we did not get married in Mexico. And that's true. They didn't. They got married somewhere else. And they got married back in August of 2024. And then she tried to even still deny that. But then 2 weeks later, she's going to go and file for a divorce. But then she's going to retract her petition saying that they reconciled. I think that was all one big stunt. You know, they pretty much keep a low profile. And, you know, and I can understand wanting to guard your privacy. But, you know, when things like marriage licenses and those things are public knowledge, it's kind of hard to deny them. So I guess they had to just fess up to it. You know, but there's also speculation that, you know, a lot of the issues that Toni has had health-wise and financially were because of the stress and what she calls her toxic family. Because, you know, her mother made her feel guilty. Take your sisters along. And, you got the record deal on your own. They didn't want the sisters. You got to take care of them. So she paid them for years as her backup singers, even when they didn't work. And then whenever they had money problems, they came to her. And she felt guilty because of what her mom said to her and didn't say no. And then when the parents broke up, she said the only person that stepped up and helped her do anything was Tamar after she married Vincent Herbert. But for the most part, Toni's been taking care of like 5 or 6 grown people for the bulk of her life. And when you have that much stress on you and you have a health problem, that just exacerbates it with the lupus and the heart problems and things like that. So then she had to file bankruptcy again and she couldn't finish her Vegas residency. And I think she just wanted to get away from her crazy, toxic family. And I can't say that I blame her.
Well, Birdman is loaded. I mean, loaded over $100 million worth. So the deal is knowing Birdman, he ain't taking care of no family. He's taking care of her.
No, it was taking care of her.
That's it.
She went broke trying to take care of 6 other people.
It ain't gonna be no my family too. Nope, it ain't gonna be that.
No.
I made it, not you. I'm sorry.
Yep. There you go. What you got next? What you got?
Okay, and then one thing I know we hadn't talked about. I got to say this. Some things need to be left alone. I'm not sure about this. Ice Cube has changed the way that he sticks and moves with this Last Friday movie coming, but I do not believe that they need to go and try to remake The Bodyguard. And I didn't know this was happening before Whitney Houston passed away. And Dr. Ross loved to always get a role that she is 2 or 3 times older for. She looked like a fool in The Wiz. And in the initial script and its initial, reincarnation of The Bodyguard was her playing Whitney Houston and Steve McQueen, who has long since been dead to the bed, playing the Kevin Costner role. And I don't know if it would work.
What?
And we need to leave it alone.
Wait,
you did not say Diana Ross playing
Yes,
Whitney Houston.
I did. Just like she played Dorothy in The Wiz. She was almost 40 years old playing a 16-year-old looking like somebody's bad Barbie doll. Child, please.
No, but my question, I mean, what is Steve McQueen? Steve McQueen's been dead for a long time. What does that have to do with anything? What are they going to AI him?
They know they could. Or maybe it was, what was his son's name? The one he punched and knocked his teeth out.
I don't know. But it can't be Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Once you said Diana Ross, you could just left it alone. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, okay. About 80 years.
This is The Bodyguard's grandmother.
How about The Bodyguard's grandmother? Yeah.
Great grandmother.
I'm sorry, that was Steve McQueen's son was I think it was Chad McQueen. But anyway, I think that would just be either way it would be a mess. I don't even know if he's still alive. All I know
that sounds like a bomb. But go ahead.
That's false. That's fake news.
Yes.
That's
Come on. Come on, Tonya B. Where you get that from, Jet?
Diana Ross. So, and see, like this, and this happened, like I said, they were doing this years before Whitney Houston passed away, but right after. The Bodyguard came out, was it 92-ish, 92, 93? They started this Michigas in like the early 2000s, and it should have never happened. And that's why we haven't seen it to this day, and we don't need to.
No, we don't. Thank goodness. I agree with you.
We also don't need to see Oprah Winfrey's new show called Somebody's Son, where somebody's mama in them, a black Mac-making mama, is in the mix and picking dates and deciding who gets what. You need to go sit down with that mess. It's not going to work.
What?
Yeah.
You look it up. It's called Somebody's Son, coming to the OWN network.
Oh, the OWN network. They can keep it there. Ain't nobody watching that.
They took it to MTV. MTV said, we don't want it. The people that they pitched it to at MTV took the idea, protect your intellectual property, and went over there to OWN. Okay, let's talk about Coachella. Is it turning into the Fire Festival of 2025? The tickets were so expensive. They were letting people put the tickets in, as the Isley brothers said, in the layaway. So they could get the tickets. They had payment plans. Yes, to leave. And people were all over social media. It was on the TV news shows this morning. 12 hours to get in the line, to get in the front door. People were passing out. They didn't have enough restrooms. They didn't have enough staff. And it was unorganized. That's why they call it the Fire Festival 2025. I hope they get it right for next weekend. And if it takes people that are going to the festival and 12 hours to get inside the front gate, what are they doing with the performers? Are they putting them on helicopters and just put them on a bungee cord to go in there? And you've got Bryson Tiller. I heard Missy Elliott just already went up there and single-handedly wrecked shop. Megan Thee Stallion, Money Long, T-Pain, the return of T-Pain. But you know what I would like to see? Now, they started about, 12 or 1 in the afternoon. Remember Kraftwerk that gave us put us on the Trans-Europe Express?
Kraftwerk. They're still out there doing it.
Yeah, they're opening one day of Coachella. But I'm just saying, if you hung over or you've been partying, I don't know if that. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting.
Well, I saw there's a live album of Kraftwerk from maybe the last 10 years, 15 years, and it's a live show. It's hella good.
Oh, they're very visual.
If you appreciate Kraftwerk, it's probably, I mean, because I think there's only one who's passed in the group. Am I correct? Only one. Yeah. And their live show is just so. They were just here in Atlanta. A tech show. Yeah, I missed it.
I believe they sold out. Yeah, but you were DJ to leave. You were, how many copies of Trans-Europe Express did you sell?
The Man Machine.
How many did I wear out?
The Model. I go back.
Oh my God, that was a jam.
I've got 3 12 inches right now that you can't hear the first 30 seconds of it because it sounds like the fried chicken. That's how many times
Q burned it. Q burned.
And Vi was up in the club trying to act like he wasn't, but I got you, Vi. The dumb donkey of this week is Soulja Boy. Tell him, I say, Soulja Boy, tell him how ignorant, stupid, and just dumb donkey, hee-haw, stupid you are. Now, he's been ordered to pay $4 million for sex abuse and sexual assault. It's a case brought by his former assistant turned girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. But, I mean, he punched her, he kicked her, he beat her. He put her in a room for 2 days with no water or food and said, I hope you die slow. Not slowly, but slow. And then he got in court and lied about it. And old girl said, oh, no, I've got the receipts. He pulled out pictures of all of her bruises. She pulled out the text messages and things that he said to her. And so I just his name is Soulja Boy. He is a boy. DeAndre Way, I put your government name out there. You dumb as a box of rocks. I hope I don't even think Soulja Boy has $4 million, but whatever it is that she gets, she deserves every penny of it.
Yeah, I don't want to go any further into it, but I was going to ask you if you thought he had the money. Yeah.
He was a fad. Soulja Boy, tell him what.
Yeah. What else you got? What's next?
That's like watch me whip, watch me nay. We got to talk about Pop Smokey now. Smokey! Now, if you remember back in the day when Smokey Robinson was with the Miracles, all he did was move from one side to the other like this, right? Am I lying? Come on, Talib. The Miracles did all the dancing and all the work. But Smokey was never dancing. Just because you can write hit songs that last, 90 years is cool. Don't mean you can dance. Smokey was never the dancer. And he didn't try, even in the 80s, being with you. He was just being with you, right?
Same dance, the Smokey dance, yeah.
But now, his new wife, Frances, must be giving him some B12 because, honey, Smokey is out there bumping and humping and dipping it and doing it. He's 80-something years young, like 84, 85. Mind you, he just put out a gospel album, but he up there, Oh,
yeah. Doing some pelvic thrusts.
He's up there literally.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody likes to get it in, but some people are loving it. Some people are like, what are you doing, you old man? And, of course, it's going to be something you love to hate. But at the end of the day, if I could be 80 anything years old and move like he's moving, I'd be like, you can hate me now. It is.
A lot of people are pissed because it's reminding them of what's going on with Frankie Valli and the way Frankie Valli, because Frankie Valli has been going on stage. Basically, they just put him out there and they just play the track, and he's not even singing. He just stands with the other guys around him, and the track
guys dancing around him. But Frankie Valli is also 93 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, a lot of folks are saying don't be Frankie Valli.
No, but
that's what the criticism is. Yeah,
Smokey's out there still getting it. At least Smokey still has a little bit of voice left. Frankie Valli, when he says "grease" is the word, the microphone is up here.
Yeah. It's lip sync. It's that.
But Frankie Valli looks like he is seriously struggling. That's why Johnny Mathis said, I got to go sit down. I got health issues and I've got memory issues. I cannot remember the lyrics to my song. So Johnny had enough wherewithal to go sit down. Somebody is propping Frankie Valli up there for a paycheck, and that's, to me, that's elder abuse.
Yeah, I agree. What else you got?
Smokey, not too much. Please, Smokey, not too much longer. Not too much longer, okay?
Yeah.
I wanted to also say congratulations to Sheryl Lee Ralph. She's finally getting her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It was delayed by the California wildfires. So on April 16th, she will finally get another star. And just for ish and giggles, I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago about Rihanna and Ashanti being pregnant again. And guess who's having babies? They got buns in the oven. And I want to say shout out to Ricky Bell of New Edition. At the age of 57, he's actually becoming a dad for the first time. He and his wife, I think she's 42. But IVF is a beautiful thing. And no, I said, no, that's what, Bob? Mute yourself. I dare you. That's real black love to hang in there for that long.
I got you.
What?
Keep going, Tonya B. What else you got? What's your last? Go ahead, your last one.
You want me to keep going?
No. If you got your last one, I didn't know if that was your last one.
Okay, I got one more, and I wonder how this is going to do. This week on the internet, somebody put a picture up of LeBron James's feet after all those years of playing basketball, and it was enough to make you. It was like some natural Ozempic, but now they have the Barbie and Ken dolls, and LeBron James is the first pro NBA player to get his own LeBron James Ken doll. So put that in your collection.
Good stuff. Appreciate you, Tonya B. I'm gonna give it up.
I'm done.
Yes, the marathon tea. hey, let's do this. We've done enough politics. So I'm gonna go ahead.
What you watching this week, Tommy B?
This is the week that I basically look back and say, this is why I've been paying for Netflix. Okay, this is the only reason I pay for Netflix. Black Mirror 7 is out. Season 7 is out. Overall, it is a good season. They've had some challenges over the last few seasons. I give this a solid B. And here are my favorite episodes, and I'm going to give them to you. This is not the order that you see them when you go into Netflix, but in terms of my favorites from top to bottom, there's an episode which Rashida Jones stars in it called Common People. It is a gut punch tragedy, y'all. And I will just say this: I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you will look at your subscription services in a completely different way. I'm going to say it like that. The other one is bête noire. It's a French term for black beast. Just think of this as Carrie, the classic, on AI, okay? High school bully, and it tells you, don't bully people in high school. That's all I got to say, okay?
Serious?
But I'm just going to leave it at that. It is a good story. It's my number 2, and I'm talking about from top to bottom. Eulogy is another one. You guys are familiar with Paul Giamatti, right? He's going to win an Emmy for this. It's basically one of those stories of regret, love lost. The name of it is Eulogy, and it includes some interesting technology. U.S. Callister to Infinity is actually a sequel. If you're a Black Mirror watcher, it's from a previous season. And it is better, in my opinion, than the first. Very surprising. And I'm going to give, if you're not into spoilers, you can go ahead and move ahead. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to pause and go forward. 1, 2, 3. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
You want to guess the interesting cameo in this? This is like a Star Trek, a Trekkie Black Mirror episode. You want to guess what they watch on the spaceship?
Picard.
Picard. And well, it's kind of it's all kind of it's a takeoff of the whole Star Trek thing. You want to guess what show? Now, guess the show. Anybody who can guess the show they watch. Now you already know, Tonya B. You already know.
No, it's just something reality TV based, because when you got that much time, that's all you really can do.
Yeah, you know, Tonya B. Why you want to take a guess? You want to take a guess, Philippe?
That's not the Housewives, is it?
Yes, they watching Real Housewives of Atlanta.
That's fake Housewives of Atlanta.
In space.
All the shows. That's what's gonna last.
And I'm here to tell you, in my opinion, because Tonya B and I were talking about how bad the show had fallen down. I mean, I'm here to tell you now, Tonya B, you don't have to believe me on this, but I think it's going to do a hell of a lot because people are talking about it. People are truly talking about it.
IC is in ICU on life support, and it's going to help give it at least maybe one season, and people will realize, and then it's going to resurrect it and bring it back from the dead for, I predict, one season.
But I will say this for people who are fans of it, and not Black Mirror, I'm talking about fans of RHOA, Real Housewives of Atlanta. It kind of solidifies the fact that it's an iconic brand, or it has been, of all the Housewives shows. The other thing, and I'm just going to run through this, Hotel Reverie stars Issa Rae. So Issa Rae is in this one, and she plays an actress doing a very, very different type of AI filmmaking. It's actually a good story, but I just, I'm challenged seeing Issa Rae in romantic movies. I've seen her in The Photograph. I saw her in the other Netflix movies where she's tied to an Indian actor, and I just have a challenge. I loved her in Insecure and some of the comedies, but I still have I don't know. Seeing her doing romance movies or anything like that, it's kind of tough for me to see her in that, but I guess I'll get used to it. A lot of folks are saying, it's their favorite episode. They love what she's doing in it. I still see the awkward Black girl, which is how she started. She's still kind of awkward to me.
Yes.
Yeah, she's still kind of awkward. She got that awkwardness still.
She's mother.
That's not what I see.
Oh, well, I still see awkward. But did you see it?
What do you see?
I want you to watch it and tell me what you think. It's different. Okay. It's very different. And finally, the last one, but keep in mind the order that I give it is just based on how I thought about them, but all of them are pretty good. Throngs is another one, and it's a game play type episode. If you're a gamer, it's a game like for gamers. It's that kind of episode.
Okay.
But it's still, kind of pitting on humanity against humanity. We'll see how that works. Again, love your thoughts. I'd love y'all to shoot me some notes and let me know. Black Mirror season 7 is out on Netflix, so love your thoughts. The other thing is Viola Davis and Anthony Anderson starring G20. That is out right now. So y'all look at it like this. You didn't get Kamala for 2025, but you got Viola Davis kicking ass as president in 2025 on Amazon Prime, on Prime Video. And she is kicking ass. So Anthony Anderson plays her husband, and Marcy Martin from Blackish, the little girl, she's on there. She ain't a little girl no more, but she is part of that as well. No, it's a fun watch.
Not a little girl no more.
It's definitely a fun watch. I would recommend it. Check out We Want the Funk, funking up PBS channels in your town. The story is actually it talks to legends like Bootsy, Clinton, all the funk masters. And real quick, it's you can only get it now on the PBS app, and it's on YouTube
now. TV.
It's on YouTube.
Finally,
yep.
Get your
it's on YouTube and the PBS app. And I'll come to you on that in a minute. The last thing I want to say on this, finally coming to theaters April 18th. I'm excited about it. Mark your calendars. Just in time for Easter, y'all. Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. And it's receiving. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Sinners, and it is receiving like 100% in terms of Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's at 100% reviews. The reviews have been great. Basically, Michael B. Jordan is going to play a set of twins, two twin brothers who return to their hometown, and they basically are trying to get out of the game, return to their hometown, and they discover that there's a greater evil awaiting them. And it's a vampire flick, kind of like I don't want to compare it to any other vampire flick, but people who have seen it you remember the one with George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, Dusk Till Dawn? Remember that? Okay. A lot of folks will say that it's given that kind of vibe. So that's what's out. But if you are a podcaster and you do movie reviews, I'm going to put this out there.
1 o'clock.
If you're doing movie reviews as a podcaster, I'd love to collab with you this week and do a review of this. I'm going to go see it probably Thursday night. But if you're a podcaster and you do movie reviews on your podcast, let's collab. I want to do a review of this because this is probably one of the first anticipated movie for me of 2025. Everything else is, I think this is my first anticipated movie of 2025. So that's what I'm watching. I tell you, but you had one more thing. Go ahead.
I'm cool. I just give it up for the funk. So.
Yep. But check it out. All right, y'all. Hey, real quick, let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and wrap it up. Here we go.
It's time to wrap it up. This is the G Podcast.
Again, we love your thoughts. Scan the QR code on the logo, social media. Our links are on the social media pages. You can choose the people poll. Love your thoughts, though, especially on Black Mirror. Some of the stuff we're talking about when it comes down to Trump all this week. Would love your thoughts. Leave us a message, especially. We're going to be off next week on hiatus for the holiday, but I do promise to play back the best when I come back. All right, y'all got any? I'm gonna go to you, Tonya B. You got any last minute shout outs?
My usual. Like, subscribe, share, hit that QR code, check out the Bird Wire. Give up 50 cents a week to get you 25, but 25. Actually, we're almost, so you might have to give up 75 cents a week because you missed the first quarter. But,
Okay.
There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you.
Close the doors. Close the doors.
Okay.
Close the doors.
All right. We still closing the doors on y'all. Okay. Vi, you got any last minute shout outs?
Because it was the alcohol.
A little public advice I need to take myself. Just because you think you ain't got a job, but you got a job, go to work.
Oh, well, damn. Isn't that a given?
Go to work. Go to work.
Inspiration.
Go to work, people.
Go
to work.
Yeah.
Be thankful you got a job. Go to work.
Especially now.
You're right. Especially now.
Especially now. Talib, what you got, man?
I just want to say that I had been checking out this series on YouTube called Nucci's from the Front Porch. Because and so my dad was from the DC Metro. I grew up for a little bit in Clinton, Maryland, near the Crystal Skate. So, go-go music I'm a big fan of go-go. And Nucci's from the Front Porch has had not just go-go bands like the Backyard and Rare Essence, but they had the Blackbirds, which was an excellent.
Wasn't it? Yes.
5 minutes. To see the Blackbirds still out here performing.
Did they do Rock Creek Park?
Exactly. So, and they did 4 or 5 of their most popular songs. Now they're doing old school rappers. They had MC Light on there. This is Tiny Desk for the hood.
Yeah,
nice.
It came out of COVID. Yeah. Is that everything? Wait, can we just give it up for Nucci in the Front Porch, y'all?
Yes. Please.
Big time.
Hey.
Big time. Make sure, send me that link, man. Send me that link.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All
right, y'all. Big thanks again. And I got to say big thanks to newbies, people who are new to the podcast. Check us out on Spotify. We are a Spotify podcast. So if you have a chance, subscribe to us on Spotify. If you have Spotify, you use Spotify. We need some followers there. And also as well as on TikTok and as well as YouTube, y'all. And we are in best of mode as of next week. So check us out. An older episode, unless I can get, one of these movie podcasts to do a collab with me on Sinners, which I'm going to watch that this week. I'm going to see it. And with that, y'all, episode 264 is in the can. Have a great week, y'all. Enjoy the holiday week and have a safe week. A lot of stuff's going on. Don't get involved. Peace and power to the people. 264 is in the can. Out of here.
Fight the power. Happy resurrection.
Fight the power.
That beat.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.